Welcome to Agribiotech, a program on biotechnology and its relevance to agricultural development in Nigeria. I am Lara Afolayo. On the program today, we shall be looking at genetically modified crops still undergoing field trials in Nigeria, talking about rice and cowpea. They're yet to be granted commercial release. And the program officer of the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, Dr. Onyekachi Francis Nwankwo, will be speaking to us on that. But first, we get to see trending agricultural biotechnology stories on what's new. Tanzania will soon join other African countries in rolling out new technology that will contain cancer-causing aflatoxins. The technology known as AflaSafe TZ can reduce the poisonous chemicals contamination in food by 80 to 90%. Reduction of food and animal feed contamination by the poisonous aflatoxins will make the human food in particular safe for consumption and meet standards for export. The International Institute of Tropical Agriculture (IITA) and its partners have already organized an investors forum in Dar es Salaam to discuss the business opportunities available in manufacturing, distribution and marketing of AlphaSafe products in the country. This brought together private sector players, policymakers, researchers, the farming community and development partners. Scientists say the meeting is very important in efforts to reduce aflatoxin contamination in Tanzania after more than 6 years of research. It emerged recently that Africa is losing a staggering $670 million annually in exports due to blocked European markets caused by aflatoxin-contaminated food exports. A new discovery by Washington State University students could help grape growers roll back a devastating virus that withers vines and shrivels harvest. The grapevine leaf roll disease, which is named for how it culls the leaves of infected plants, cost growers millions of dollars in lost vines and productivity. Reports say no one has been able to replicate one of the main culprits behind the disease, which is a virus called grapevine leaf roll associated virus 3, known as leaf roll 3 for short. But researchers in Washington State University's Department of Plant Pathology have now found a way to duplicate the leaf roll 3, opening the door for experiments and treatments to protect valuable vineyards. The scientists describe the whole process as a breakthrough that will help build a better understanding of the leaf roll tree and better defenses against it. Ghanaian Minister of Parliament Ibrahim Odom says if Nigeria gets it right in the agricultural sector, the development will impact the whole of West Africa. He called for robust business models to sustain the gains and achievements in the rice value chain and urged the country to replicate its efforts in the rice sector in other crop value chains. The minister, speaking to members of the Rice Assured Advocacy Forum (RAAF) in Abuja, the Nigerian capital, based his assessment on the gains recorded by the country in its rice value chain. The RAAF is a national dialogue platform aimed at harmonizing the rice value chain actors in Nigeria to advocate for better policies towards the development of the country's rice sector. It was set up during the first phase of the Competitive African Rice Initiative and currently consists of about 17 state platforms in the country. Nigeria has been listed among the 16 top producers of rice in the world, as the country attained 3.7 million tons of milled rice in December, valued at 684 billion naira. Genetically modified crops are not just resistant to pests and provide higher yields, they also allow for improved shelf life. They require less land to grow food and could also conserve energy, soil and water resources. Let's see more of that in this report. Genetic modification is an advanced way of selecting desirable crop traits. It allows seed developers modify a crop's genome. Genetically modified plants have been bred selectively and enhanced with genes to withstand common problems. These types of crops can also bring forth improved yields.
People sometimes associate biotechnology with genetic modified organisms. It is not all biotechnology that is GMO. GMO is a subset of biotechnology, a good one, to be honest with you, depending on what you are focusing on or what you are using it to achieve. There's nothing wrong with genetic modification, really. There's rubber that we use for vulcanization, different things, wiper blades of cars and so on and so forth. I see no reason why biotechnology cannot be used, especially using the genetic modification genre of it.
Genetically modified crops can be protected from threats to bountiful yields, including diseases, droughts, pests, and herbicides used to control weeds, and this allows for a more efficient food production process. Scientists describe genetic engineering for plant breeding as more precise than conventional hybridization and therefore is less likely to give unexpected results.
The greater part of the world is actually using it in food. The whole of North America, South America, Asia. The only people that are against it a little bit is Europe, but it's not all of Europe. Some parts of Europe are actually using it in food, and it has worked.
This technology has been used for several years in countries like the USA, Canada, Brazil, Argentina, and India, among others. The technology has been commercialized in these countries.
GMs are not new, and just that the hype people are just spreading, and the rumors people are spreading all over the country. If you look critically in most of the goods we consume, from supermarkets and we travel a lot, and so we eat so many things. We never care, but when we come here, people are spreading rumors about GMOs going to cause cancer, cause that. But for me, today I'm happy that Nigeria has been able to at least commercialize a GM product. At least this will go a long way to revamp our textile industries. It will provide, textile industry we all know used to be one of the greatest employer of labor in this country. I remember what we call the Machaka those days in the north. We have a lot of people working in the textile industry, but today, all these factories are under lock and key. So if we have a way that scientists can work and bring raw material for this industry, so who should be against it?
Scientists say genetically modified crops are more efficient and thereby need less agricultural inputs to bring forth same quality of food. Genetic modification is seen by scientists as being able to improve the nutritional content of food and could reduce global malnutrition rates.
Using biotechnology, especially genetic modification in industrialization process and industrial products, is actually a good thing. And using BT in cotton is fantastic. BT is what? Bacillus thuringiensis. This is a bioinsecticide. What we have done in biocrops is, rather than infuse BT through gene transformation in crops, thereby altering their DNA, we've decided to just produce BT and spray on plants, and insects absorb it that way, and biologically it disables them. And don't think BT is some kind of Einstein invention. BT occurs in the environment. It is there naturally occurring in the environment. What we have just done is to concentrate it, and then we can use it as a kind of biocontrol. And so introducing it to cotton, which is non-food, as I said, I think it's smart agriculture. We need to move from conservative, traditional agriculture that has kept Africa behind to actually smart agriculture, and that's what we take us there.
We've been using GM technology in the health sector for a long time. Who has complained? Diabetes today, most of the people infected with diabetes today are alive because they have access to medicine, which is a product of GM. And so today, I don't see anything wrong. For me, it's to celebrate Nigeria for taking the bull by the horn. We cannot continue to do whole and cutlass agriculture and hope we can be self-sufficient in food production.
Genetic modification is a tool farmers can use to increase productivity, and it does not affect the need for other advances, including hybridization, agriculture chemicals, and farm machinery. It rather works with other modern agricultural activities for crop enhancement. And next, I will be speaking to Dr. Onyekachi Francis Nwankwo, who is the Program Officer of the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, on genetically modified crops being planted in Nigeria through confined field trials. And joining me on the program is Dr. Onyekachi Francis Nwankwo, the Program Officer of the African Agricultural Technology Foundation. Is here to share his thoughts on the use of biotechnology for agriculture in Nigeria. It's good to have you join me on the program.
Thank you very much.
How did AATF receive the news of the approved cotton varieties for commercial release in Nigeria?
It was very exciting to us because it's like the first step towards the benefits, Nigeria reaping the benefits of biotechnology. And we were very happy when Nigeria took the bold step. Nigeria is actually the giant of Africa and should maintain that position. So we're happy when Nigeria took the bold step and released cotton. So it's exciting, and farmers and all the stakeholders in the cotton industry, in the textile industry, will begin to reap the benefits, and it will be okay, it will be nice, it will be great.
It's exciting. So what specifically are the AATF's expectations from this development?
Yes, knowing that Nigeria has entered the process. So AATF is happy, and we are optimistic, hopeful that other products in the pipeline will also receive such commendation, from the Nigerian authorities.
And how do you expect this to impact the cotton industry in Nigeria and the textile sector as a whole?
Definitely, cotton is a major commodity, a major raw material for the textile industry. So when cotton production is increased in terms of quantity and quality due to this introduction of BT cotton, so it will translate into a boost in that subsector, in the textile subsector. So the textile industry, it's really going to benefit from all the stakeholders, from the farmers to those who are involved in the processing, and to all the players along the value chain of cotton and the textile industry. So it's going to be a very huge benefit, a very huge thing for the country.
Okay. Talking about other crops that are presently undergoing confined field trials in Nigeria, I'll start with the BT cowpea. Where are we right now?
The BT cowpea is another interesting thing that we are really very happy with. We have been able to go through the process of selecting the lead event and then doing the regulatory trials. When I say regulatory trials, I mean to ascertain the safety in terms of environmental safety, in terms of safety as food and as feed. So we have done all those. We are at the level where we are now compiling the regulatory dossier to be able to submit to Nigerian authorities for them to review and go through, and also be able to give approval for environmental release. So that's where we are on cowpea.
On the BT cowpea, how many trials have been done so far on that particular variety?
Okay, since 2008, we have done trials consistently every year, up till last year. So you can count the number of trials. So the first set of trials was to select the lead event. to look at it and say, is it adapting in the environment? So we did it, and we got leading events, leading lines. When I say events, lines or varieties. We don't call them varieties at this stage because they have not been released, so we can call them lines. Then we started the second phase of trials, where we now had to put these lead events into popular varieties that farmers plant. And then we use those popular varieties to also do trials to see, are they safe for the environment? Are they safe for food? Are they safe for feed? And this took quite a lot of time. And then we went through that process. So we did other tests and experiments to check the composition, call it compositional analysis, to find out, is it the same? Does it have substantial equivalence with the conventional cowpea? And we did all those. So the results have been very impressive. They are safe for the environment. They are safe as food and feed. And then they are also substantially equivalent with the conventional. The only difference is just the introduced gene, but it has no nutritional or compositional implication, which is really desirable and very okay.
And how soon are we most likely to see this particular variety released for commercialization in Nigeria?
Well, we're hoping to submit it very soon. And how long it takes to be released will now depend on the Nigerian authorities.
And if you're just joining us, I've been speaking with Onyekachi Francis Nwankwo. He is the Program Officer of the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, ATF, here in Abuja, Nigeria. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the newest rice project. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Agribiotech, and Onyekachi Francis Nwankwo is still here with me in the studio. Thanks for staying with us, Onyekachi.
Thank you.
Now, going to the newest rice project, which is in Badegi, could you share your thoughts on what the results of the trials have been so far?
Okay, thank you very much, Lara. The newest rice is a novel technology that we all are proud of, especially being a Nigerian and then being involved in the development of this cutting-edge technology. It's 3 gene stacks that we have been able to put together and package it into rice and call it newest rice for Africa. So far, we have done a lot of trials at National Cereal Research Institute, Badegi, and we have been able to select very promising lines. We have been able to select about 3 lines that are performing very well. But for the purpose of deregulation, we want to advance one of those lines through what we call regulatory trials. So that is the next step where we are going to. But for the lines that we selected, there are different levels of selection that we go through. In the field, we look at the agronomic performance. So based on the agronomic performance, we selected these 3 lines. And then we also check the molecular characteristics And when we took it through the molecular characteristics, these trade lines were still very outstanding. So looking at the performance in terms of the molecular characterization and in terms of the efficacy and agronomic performance in the field, we selected these trade lines. And we would now use one, the best performing one. We call it NUE12. That is the one we will now advance through regulatory trials, after which we submit for deregulation.
So what will be your final word on the BT cowpea variety and the newest rice variety? What will be your final word on those two varieties?
Okay, the BT cowpea is very interesting because it's addressing a major constraint that farmers have. Many of us like to eat beans because beans is really a major source of protein for us Nigerians. And farmers who produce it go through a lot. As human beings like beans, insects also like it, and they eat it up in the farm and even in post-harvest. So there is good news for the farmers and there is good news for the consumers, because a part of a solution is on the way and it's coming very soon. For the newest rice, it's also the same. Nigeria is one of the largest consumers of rice in Africa, and the government of Nigeria is making every effort to increase rice production. And then the scientists are also coming together to support the efforts of the government. And this newest rice is a cutting-edge technology that will help increase the production of rice, and of course the consumption can also increase.
Okay, so it's good news for the farmers, good news for the consumers. It's a win-win situation all the way. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Laura,
on the program.
Thank you.
And I've been speaking with Dr. Onyekachi Francis Nwankwo, the Program Officer of the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, AATF, here in Abuja, Nigeria. We'll take a quick break and Agribiotech continues shortly. Thanks for your emails and messages sent to our social media accounts. I'll take this Facebook message from Gando Shikfu Goyol, who wants more information on the BT cotton variety just granted approval for commercial release in the country. The Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology, OFAB Nigeria, has a response to that inquiry from Gando. And that ends this edition of the program. Keep sending in your emails to agribiotech1@yahoo.com. Send us tweets at agribiotech13 or comment on our Facebook page, Agribiotech on TVC. I am Lara Afolayan. Goodbye.